Man, let me paint the picture for y'all real quick because this one right here could have been special. We talking about King Booker and William Regal as a full-on tag team called the Royal Court. Imagine how this would have looked from the ground up. First off, Booker T had just reinvented himself as King Booker after winning King of the Ring. But I gotta be honest, King Booker was his bag. Over the top, funny, dramatic, still dangerous in the ring. Then you throw Regal next to him, the perfect foil, the straight-faced British enforcer, walking around with his fancy robes, his dry wit, his brass knuckles in the back pocket, his ability to make any situation feel classy but petty at the same time. You already know the chemistry would have been crazy. One dude loud, animated, commanding respect like he owned the whole arena. The other dude acting like his uptight knight, following orders but always scheming in the shadows. Together they'd come out draped in gold robes, carrying a crown. The crowd would eat it up because you'd hate them so much that you'd end up loving the entertainment. Now picture the formation. Booker cuts a promo talking about how every king needs a loyal court. Boom! Regal steps in like, "Your Majesty, I humbly pledge my services." Just like that, you got a heel duo locked in. Their first feud is obvious. You put them against Rey Mysterio and Batista. That's the babyface energy WWE loved in that era. Regal interfering in singles matches. Booker cutting promos about Rey being unworthy of the throne. At a pay-per-view, they steal the belts. Regal slips on the brass knucks. Booker lands that scissors kick. Suddenly, we got new champions standing tall with the belts and the crown. That moment alone would have solidified them as a must-watch act. From there, the reign writes itself. Booker being the showman. Taunting, dancing, hitting the spinneroonie when he felt like it. Regal grinding opponents down with technical holds and dirty tricks. Together, they balance each other out like peanut butter and jelly, but way more toxic. The defenses would have been legit. First up, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, the ultimate underdog high flyers. Running circles around them, only to get caught in Regal's submissions and cheated out of the win. Then you line them up against the Hardys. Daredevil energy. Once again, Regal and Booker steal one by the skin of their teeth. Then the big comedy feud comes in. You can't do the Royal Court without them running into DX. Two dudes who live to clown anybody with a goofy gimmick. Imagine DX backstage replacing Booker's crown with a Burger King hat, swapping Regal's robe with an apron. The crowd crying, laughing while Booker cuts a promo about disrespect to the monarchy. Regal's face turning red trying to stay in character. In the ring, they'd still make it work. DX would get DQ wins, countouts, or false finishes. Regal and Booker keep the belts. That means more heat and more story fuel. Every time you thought they were done, they'd find a way to sneak out. This is where they become not just annoying heels, but credible champions. Then comes the downfall. In wrestling, egos always ruin the team. With Booker's royal persona, his ego would have been sky high. He'd start demanding Regal bow to him backstage, calling himself the sole reason for success, making Regal fetch his crown, even calling him a lowly servant in promos. Regal would start to show little cracks, hesitating to help, rolling his eyes behind Booker's back, until that moment comes when they lose the titles. It's poetic. Let's say they're defending against the Hardy Boys. Booker yells at Regal to use the brass knucks. Regal refuses, looks at the crowd, drops them. That hesitation costs them the match. Jeff hits the swanton. 1, 2, 3. New champs. Booker loses his mind. The next week on SmackDown, you got Booker berating Regal in the middle of the ring, screaming at him, calling him treasonous, slapping him across the face. That's when the payoff hits. Regal finally snaps, cocks back, knocks Booker clean out with the brass knuckles to the biggest pop of his career. He stands over him like no more majesty. After months of watching Regal get disrespected, he finally gets his revenge. From there, you spin it into a feud. Booker and Regal one-on-one at a pay-per-view. Booker still hamming it up with the royal act. Regal now the unlikely babyface fighting for respect. You get a hard-hitting emotional match that caps off the storyline. When you look back at the whole run, you realize the Royal Court would have been one of the funniest, most entertaining heel tag teams of the Ruthless Aggression era. But also one of the most effective. They had it all. Character work, in-ring skills, story arcs, a natural implosion that made sense. It's the kind of tag run that lasts about 6 to 8 months. Packed with comedy, heat, and drama. When it ends, both guys are elevated. Booker stays a top-level heel. Regal gets a face run with legit sympathy. The legacy is sealed. Because every week fans would tune in just to see what wild proclamation Booker was going to make and what face Regal was going to make reacting to it. That's the type of entertainment wrestling needs. The balance of serious and ridiculous. The kind that makes you boo, laugh, and cheer all in the same segment. If you can pull that off, you got gold in your hands.